stand by for action.
Thanks, Johnny. My name's Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy. This is the second part of a two-part report on the organization whose videos President Trump got into a little trouble in 2017 for retweeting, and who seem to be getting a lot of donations from the United States of America now. The purpose of this program is to give full disclosure of the activities and the character of Britain First. This program was organized and is being co-hosted by Rennie, my teammate on EDL Radio and contributor to some good shows I've done. We now join our special insider guests, Graham and Shell, as we continue our discussion of Britain First.
And it is another. What I was going to say about the political status, they've only got one more attempt. If they get denied this final attempt, they can never apply for it again unless they change their name. They've never told their donators or the subscribers that they're no longer a political party, which I'm not sure how that stands legally, but they've never declared it. And the money that they get, the tax man is looking into that. I'm not sure how much luck he's going to have. It's all about money.
Yeah, there's no books for anything. It's like when Paul Golding, he was in a relationship before and he's got a child in that relationship. Now, he beat his ex up so bad that he wasn't allowed to see his child at all. And he's fought it and fought it. Now, this was £30,000 or £40,000, I can't remember which. Jada did tell me at the time to fight this case so he could see it. She says the only reason why he wanted to fight this is money, donations again. The only reason why he wanted to get to see the child was because he'd beat her up that bad and she moved to, Isle of Man. And he fought it for so long just so that he could sort of stick one up his ex. Like, he'd no interest in seeing his child. It was all just so he could stick the fingers up at her.
He could afford to do it.
Yeah, that was all.
Yeah, he could afford to do it with donations. That's shocking.
Saying it's legal fees, this, that and the other. Now, this can be found out. This happened. All of it happened. They put up, it's a donation for whatever, legal fees or whatever, and it wasn't. I can't remember, it was £30,000 or £40,000 went to legal costs for him to fight to see his kid that he wasn't bothered about seeing. He just wanted to stick his fingers up at his ex.
Other donations are for the Truth Truck and the Ring of Steel, which is like their security. They sometimes must sit there and scratch their heads to think, what else can we ask for?
Could you highlight that about the Truth Truck? I have heard.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a video on that Truth Truck. Have you seen it?
I think I've seen a few.
It's the armoured truck.
Right. For those who don't know, go on YouTube. You can see a few of the Britain First videos. They're riding around in what they say is like this armoured truck, and I think that's the Truth Truck you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that crashes into the barrier.
Yeah.
Stop filming.
He can't turn corners correctly. But he is a confidence trickster. You know, the three of them should be in prison. They really should be in prison for embezzlement, wasting public funds, what people have donated. They're buying homes, they're paying rent on homes. Now they've moved into Northern Ireland. And this could become very, very sticky because I don't believe that they know what they're dealing with there, or they think they do.
Chance. I told Jada at the time, the first visit in Ireland, I says, you have got no chance. I says, you have no idea what you're getting into. But she insisted, and off they went. And she's stuck her fingers up to Sinn Féin and called them all sorts.
Cretins, called them cretins, yeah.
Oh, she did worse than that. She did another video after, and she called them a lot worse than that. And then she's gone and sat herself in the chair with a robe on and stuck her fingers up again.
Yeah, I saw that.
She's on a no-go because they're not having her now. That's it. She's done it. They actually said, on this video, they said, we are the new force in town to Sinn Féin.
Graham,
are they off their heads or what?
Yeah, okay. And now, for Americans who don't quite get this, for those of us who are fossils like me, we can remember all the trouble in Northern Ireland in the 70s and 80s, all the terrorism and things of that nature. And while a lot of that has died down openly, a lot of the feelings are still there, and you can get yourself seriously messed up if you take a misstep like the ones that we're hearing about here. So do continue, guys. I just wanted to spin people up on that.
Right, Graham, shall we talk about Poland and the country and
the priest?
And the priest and the fact that they put up that post saying, "We love Polish patriots." I'll let you tell the priest story.
I'll tell you another little bit of that story, because on one of the Jada Paul fallouts, Jada had one of the security guys record a meeting that Paul had called about me and Jada sleeping with each other. A meeting, a Britain First meeting about me and Jada. And that's what they talked about. Now, this was recorded. And Paul Golding had turned around and said he was going to kick Jada's tits in. And he said to the people, to the security guys in there, the inner circle, on this recording, that so effing what? I slipped the pole like a length. And that's
how he's referred to the rape. He slipped the pole like a length.
The pole like a length, yeah.
That's
how.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
But now go on and tell them about what Jada's lie was.
Right. The Polish were doing their demonstrations, the big demonstrations, just not so long back. So Jada had been asked to do a speech at one of the demonstrations, one of the smaller ones. So the priest who she was supposed to have been sleeping with before me, Paul, she told me about this. Paul had found text messages on her phone and given her a good slapping about it, about sleeping with this priest. So he was one of the organisers of the demonstrations. So he'd asked Jada to do a speech at the demonstration, and the Polish girl got wind of it, and she put a post up saying she was also going to the Polish demonstrations. So Jada has took fright and panic stations. She's gone straight over to the Polish priest and said to the Polish priest that the Polish girl had been arrested by the police and was on bail for trying to kill Paul Golding. Tell her she's not welcome at the demonstrations, because she knew, because of the Polish girl's post that she put up on Facebook, she thought if she's going to go over there, she's going to tell everybody what Paul Golding did, and the whole thing's going to go bad for her. So that's what she does. The lengths that she goes to, the Polish girl has never been arrested for anything. I was arrested because of the story that Jada Franson and Andrew Edge took to the police and said that I offered to pay Andrew Edge £10,000 to kill Paul Golding, and that I was armed. This had nothing to do with the Polish girl. The Polish girl was here in the house at the time because Paul Golding had followed her in a car. She got fright, came back, she was scared of him, and when the police surrounded the house, she was here. And of course, anybody that was in the house got arrested as well, although not for firearms or...
They didn't find it because it didn't exist.
No,
the guns she talked about didn't exist.
Oh, yeah, and not only that, they'd also said that the house was wired up with cameras in all the rooms, which, of course, none of that was found either. And that's because of a photograph that was put on Facebook. Admits she put the photograph on. It wasn't naked. She'd blanked out the obvious bits, but stuck it on there because she was so angry. It happened the night that the Polish girl came over, looked at my phone, and saw what Jada had been saying about her. And she was that angry, she stuck this picture on. Although she did cover up, it wasn't naked.
It was a blurred picture anyway.
It was, yeah. So Jada tried to say that she'd no idea that this picture had been taken, sort of thing. And it was taken by hidden secret cameras or something. So the picture actually showed that this chair, what I'm sitting in now, it was a screenshot of a video that was taken on Jada's phone that she'd sent to me, several of them. And it was when the police had the phone, they checked this out, and that's what it was. There's no hidden cameras around, nowhere. That was all a complete fabrication, along with the rest of it.
They wouldn't run hidden cameras with what Paul Golding gets up to, would they now?
No. It's worth pointing out as well, one of Jada's posts that she did a few months ago, how young women now are promiscuous and led astray, and Britain First aim is to return to traditional family values. Oh. This would be fantastic. I'd love this if it was true, but it falls flat given Jada's history, because she obviously used to work on TV. You know those phone lines where you've got a naked girl on TV and you ring the premium rate line and you think you're talking to her. That's what she did before she got with Britain First.
Yeah,
so those morals fall flat.
Sex talk or something? Was it one of those?
Yeah, one of those. I don't know, bang babes or something, or I don't know.
Lying semi-naked.
Yeah.
Talking to perverts on the phone, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, another lie that she I don't know if she still does it anymore because she has been outed for it. She told people that she had a law degree.
She hasn't.
Which she hasn't. She left school with no qualifications. She got a job in a legal firm, probably making the tea, and they agreed to put her through law school, which, if you do it that way, it takes 10 years. So with that in mind, she would only have qualified as a solicitor about a year or two ago, and in which case, if she'd done that, she wouldn't need a legal team now. So any legal knowledge she got or has, she Googles.
Well, it's all BS, isn't it? Graham, a little insight of what they do of a night when they're not planning the next demo or not planning the next video of how great they are. I mean, the latest version, folks, is Joan of Arc, as she's now calling herself, Jada Francis Joan of Arc, galloping a horse down Pall Mall, coming away from Buckingham Palace. I mean, have they got screws loose? What is this thing that they're now promoting that she is she's on par with the Queen, that she gallops on horse?
Yeah,
the
she's
video
Britannia.
is absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah, she's Britannia, she's Wonder Woman, and she's Joan of Arc and all the rest of it. I don't know
The
what.
Queen.
And Bodicea as well.
Bodicea as well, yeah.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
And
this more like the Crucial
Borgia. Covering up rape.
Yeah, I think the whole has got to her. You know, there's too many lies. She's told too many lies, too many cover-ups, and she doesn't know where she is anymore. I think she's just lost the plot. I'm sure of it.
I think what she's doing is she's doing a prank to cover up some lies, and then she does another prank to cover up the other prank, so that she's a train wreck at the moment. But I've noticed Paul's very quiet. There's not much going on with Paul.
I think they're all very frightened. This is why they've kind of deserted Facebook and gone over to Gab to re-establish themselves, because the right-wing patriots are fast and furious at dropping away from Britain First. The more the truth.
Yeah, not fast enough. I mean, when this first started, Graham and weren't allowed to mention their names on Facebook, sort of like a gag order.
Yeah.
And so it was just me sort of daring to sort of push. I got braver and braver doing posts, phone calls. I got one phone call and I put a post up saying that if you're going to give me an anonymous call, make sure the person that's told you to do the call isn't screeching behind you.
Yes, but we know her as the screecher.
Yeah. So
another thing.
Not very tactical, is it?
Yeah.
Just about every night is party night. Now, despite what they say, I know for a fact when they went on the run across Europe, the only thing that they was on the run for was because on one of their pissed up nights out, Paul Golding headbutted one of his own security team, a young lad. It was caught on CCTV. The lad's dad went to the police, and Golding was due to go into court, and they shot off to Europe. Now, that's the only thing that they was on the run for at that time.
And they never declared that. They never declared that openly.
And there again, they've not been arrested on return.
No, that's the only thing they was on the run for until further into the thing they failed to answer bail conditions, which wasn't an arrestable
not a big
thing.
Deal, no.
No, but failing to show at court for assault, that's what they were on the run for. There was nothing else, but they were saying that they were persecuted patriots. The whole thing was another publicity stunt to get more money in, a massive one.
When is Jada back in court in Northern Ireland? Is it February?
It's about 2 weeks, isn't it? 29th.
No, 29th was in Folkestone Magistrates for the racial incitement charges. That'll be plea and directions. That's at Folkestone.
Yeah.
So I'll have someone there watching that. But the Irish ones, I'm not sure. Is that a couple of days before?
It's
like
April,
26? No, I'm sure that they've got 20.
I think it is April. I think I heard it was April.
I thought they had 29th in Folkestone, and a couple of days before, they've got another hearing in Ireland.
Oh, they have, yeah. You're right. There is another hearing in Ireland, close to the Folkestone one,
yes, because I know that because
it's just before,
I seen the donation email saying we're living out of a suitcase, we need hotels, we need our flights to Ireland.
Because they've got another one, there is another one in April, though.
Yeah,
so there'll be plenty of posts going up in Gab, I expect, saying that they need the donations for court costs and please help us, etc., etc.
You know, ironically now, they probably do need financial aid for their legal team because it's probably the first time they actually need help, but they've cried wolf too many times.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
every
actually
dollar-
keep getting away with everything they're charged with. Nothing comes of it. Ever.
Every
I'd
dollar
like to
they
know
send is money
How
gone.
are they going to ask for donations for Paul's sexual assault and for Andy Edgy's sexual assault?
Because
How
they
are they
never, Graham, they never declare it, do they? It's always
How many office
other
moves is though?
Yeah, but when they ask for donations, they always say, we need it for this charge and other charges. They never disclose what the other charges are.
Yeah. They're probably
it's
going to
worth-
buy a truth ship or something, or a truth
Yeah.
error.
Well, hopefully they sink. But
Well,
it's worth pointing...
there will be another programme, I'm sure, Dave, when we get the follow-up to all this, because we can't leave people high and dry, both in the UK and the United States.
Oh, yeah.
I expect that the three of us are already waiting for the onslaught once this show goes out.
Oh, they're not going to be happy at all with me when
I can't wait.
post,
I can't
well.
wait, because I have waited years for this. I am so glad that I found Graham, the Polish girl, and of course Shell. Shell's been working very hard, and so has Graham, and kudos to both of you. It's very uplifting. We did have a friend, Dave, that knew, like us, from the beginning that Britain First was an awful organisation with nothing but a bunch of crooks. And sadly, he passed away last year, but I'm sure he's watching us from above and having a little titter to himself, because there are people out there that do know. They do know the truth.
We wanted initially just to expose this for the Polish girl to get justice.
Yes.
And we were both sort of like outcast. My friends list dropped down, so did Graham's, and we were hated for it. But if we'd have just sat quiet and not said anything, then that means we're complicit. We're okay with it, and we're really not. And I think the right wing can move forward.
I think it's changing now.
It's got to change.
But we've noticed a big change in people's opinion. There's a lot of people that have seen Britain First because I keep putting out the evidence.
Yeah.
They're seeing them for what they are.
Graham, can I just say you are a gentleman for standing your ground, for being honest to yourself, for being a true patriot and standing by this Polish girl, knowing what they were doing was wrong.
Yeah.
God bless you for that.
Well, I didn't have any choice, really. I was there. See, it was easier for me because I saw what happened. I saw what happened in the room that night, and I've got the text messages, what Jada's saying to me, what Paul's saying to Jada, and all the rest of it. I saw it all firsthand. And for me, it's easy for me because I know it's true because I was there and seen it. For other people, they have issues with different parts of it.
And the police have all this evidence, do they? They do, don't they?
Yeah, I've done the last statement for the police a few days ago for the Polish girl. I've done the last statement, so it's all ready now because this whole case is a big case and it's going through 5 counties and all the different police counties are talking to each other and it's all ready now to go to the CPS. I've done the last of the statements, had to do statements on my text messages and the voice recording because he was in the room at the time when this happened. And I got the Polish girl to ring up and see what his stand was going to be because he was actually doing photography for Britain First for Paul Golding at the time. That's why he was there. He was sharing a room with the Polish girl because he's a gay lad and she didn't mind. That's the way it went. So he was actually in the room. So I asked the Polish girl to ring me up and talk to him on the phone on loudspeaker and record it. I didn't think there was much hope because he was there working for Paul Golding, but he came out with everything. He says,
"Did he?"
Yeah.
He said what he saw, that Paul Golding forced himself on. And not only that, he says that they told him that if ever any of this got out, there would be serious consequences. This is all in his own words. And he says that they bribed him with a Panasonic camera to keep quiet and with the offer of a blue badge or something on Facebook. I don't understand what that is.
Verified.
Blue badge.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit like the key fob they gave to Ed.
Yeah.
Very likely.
From my point of view, Graham was there. He witnessed everything. Obviously, I wasn't there. And Graham phoned me as his friend and told me what happened. So I took Graham at his word because he's my best friend. I didn't really have to think very hard about whether I was going to help or not, because the way I look at it is, this Polish girl is the same age as one of my sons, and if a grown man climbed on top of my daughter, I don't care how much money he's got, how important he is, or whether he's the King of England, he would be exposed at the very, very least.
Yeah.
So the mother instinct come out of me there. And it has to be done. And for the American people, wake up and don't send them your money. It's that simple.
Yeah, for me, at that moment when I told Jada she was dumped and I was going to give the Polish girl all the evidence off my phone and let her see what was really happening, from the point when putting the phone down to the Polish girl coming over to here, I was thinking, have I just done the most stupid thing? This is going to be a real pain in my arse.
Yeah.
But when she got here and I saw her break down and cry, then I thought, I know exactly what I have to do.
She's a very beautiful girl, isn't she? I mean, naturally.
Yeah, she is.
There's no work, but she's a very, very attractive girl, and I really do feel for her. And I think actually she's gained a lot of strength and a lot of confidence back because of the exposure and the support she's had from you too.
Yeah. She was really bad for a while. She was in a real mess. And I can't go into, I don't know if she would want me to say to what extent it was serious enough where I've been out of my depth and I've had to ring Shell up and say, I need help, because the Polish girl isn't handling this very well at all. And I was out of my depth. It's something that I don't know about. It's not my thing.
Traumatized is what I think you're going for.
Yeah.
I think you're going traumatized. And sometimes I've got to say it. Doing the honorable thing is not easy. To this extent, Americans, this man did the honorable thing, and amongst other things, including attempted murder, he basically had his house torn inside out over a period of 2 days by the police. It's what we over here in the States call swatting. A lot of times an ex will accuse their ex of whatever just to get the SWAT team out there to do exactly what happened to your place, Graham. And it sounds like this. And also cover up a rape that the head of Britain First.
Assault.
Well, assault. Let's put it that way. The very thing that advocates
stand
against in the UK and in the States.
Hypocrites. It's hypocrisy what they're doing.
And
it doesn't matter whether it is of the Islamic faith or the Christian faith. You do not rape. You do not assault.
No. And it's right what you say. That's swatting. With Jada's knowledge about law, because she does have knowledge about law, she knew exactly what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that was a whole intention.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And also, I want to just add, Graham, something really grated on me. At one particular demo, and I did ask you not to take him, but you took your son, and I made him poster boy, and she was all over your boy, because he is a fantastic kid.
Yeah.
The icing on the cake for this is, when she brought your car back, she left a tracksuit for him, a Britain First tracksuit, as a little rubbing it in. This is for your boy.
She sticking her fingers up again. She put a Britain First T-shirt in there. Because it was actually my son's car. I bought it for my son because he wanted it with the roof down.
And then cut your brakes while your son was going to be driving
to school.
Yeah.
She knew, Jada knew my routine. She knew the roads. She knew which way I would gone to school. She'd been with me. Jada had lived at my house for a while. And she knew exactly where I would have to go and what happened. And we was very nearly killed. The police come down, the forensics, they saw where the brakes were cut, they saw the fluid lines going across the road, the skid marks where the other cars nearly hit us, because it goes from my lane, it goes straight out onto the A5, a busy road.
A hairpin bend.
Yeah, right on a blind corner, and it was really close.
And when she stands there on her political platform and says, particularly after the Trump shenanigans, she declared, it's so good to see my people. I'm not one of her people.
What gets me is she held my son's hand up at that demonstration on the platform and says, over my dead body will anybody harm this child. And that will never, ever leave me. That will never leave me. what she tried to do.
She is so dramatic.
Yeah.
Talk about a drama queen.
She's a danger to children.
Yeah.
She's a danger to our country.
She is, yeah.
She's a danger to herself.
And by extension, a danger to the world civil rights movement. I mean,
Yes.
this goes beyond the UK, and it goes into other countries. We saw how a lot of other defense leagues were formed after the EDL all over the planet. And this sort of behavior is not what anybody wants. It's not representative of the true movement. It's just representative of these people and their own appetites.
And greed. Yep.
Yeah. And as far as Britain First go, I wouldn't even trust them to stand up straight.
No,
That's all I can say, really.
Talking about that with my son's pictures, even I've asked them to take them off because I put my son's pictures. Yeah, and not only did she not take them off the Britain First site on Facebook, she added them onto her own and onto Paul's with my son on there. I've told the police about it. There's no way of reporting a picture on Facebook. I've tried. It just says if you don't like this picture, whatever, block them or whatever. You can't report it. So I can't get my son's picture because I don't want my son associated with her when I know what she's done. And she's doing it on purpose to stick her fingers up. The same was when they went on holiday, well, on that European trip, on the Polish girl's birthday, they sat at a table with their drinks, and Paul made a comment to that very special girl, "You know who you are, happy birthday," on the Polish girl's birthday. They just blatantly laugh. They know what they're doing. They are sick. They're sick people.
Let's just hope that this program will get some justice for her and for any others that might have come into their path.
Yeah. They went round the whole of Europe, so it might be a few.
It's possible.
Yeah.
They've talked about the Polish, how patriotic the Polish are. They've gone to Ireland and slagged off Sinn Féin. I'm just waiting for Jada to start talking about Russia and North Korea, and then she'd really have, a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, If you think talking about Sinn Féin is dangerous, yes, start trying to talk about the Russians.
The Russians and North Korea, then she's got the whole lot in there then.
I wouldn't want to be standing within 100 yards of her at that point. Well, I'm not sure I'd want to now anyway, but...
No. Not with telling Sinn Féin that they're the new force in town.
No.
Yeah, that's amazing right there.
I think there's something wrong with them. There's got to be something wrong with their heads.
Yeah.
These ideas of grandeur.
That's what it is.
When they've got the background they've got and what's all against them and what they've been doing and what we've known for a long time without being exposed. And yet they think they are. She's likening herself to the Queen of the UK. She's crazy as well as evil. She's crazy.
When we used to go out locally round here for a drink, Jada would say, at first she'd say, well, I can't go out because everybody will recognise me and I'll have the press there, this, that and the other. Well, eventually when we started going out, not one person recognised. Nobody had a clue.
I bet that pissed her off.
Yeah.
Well, this almost sounds, guys, like some of the behavior that the Hollywood people get into, the people involved in entertainment and things like that. They get disconnected from reality, and then their behavior starts to show it. The only difference here is that these people are doing that on the backs of donations that people in the UK make for soldiers and people in the United States make because they think that this is going to help the civil rights movement in the UK.
No.
It's so annoying because the majority of patriots go to work.
Yeah.
And when the numbers have dropped, it's probably because they can't afford the coach fare,
that's
the train
exactly
fare.
it.
And it's an expensive day out because I live in Scotland. I travel down to England for the EDL demos, etc., and here we are. People doing it.
Patriotism is free, right? You're
Yeah.
either patriotic or you're not. It's something you feel. Paying £59 for a picture of Jada and Paul, a key ring, and a scroll which says Britain First, right? Doesn't make you a patriot. It makes you a mug.
Yes.
Patriotism is free.
That's hurt me as well because there's a girl that's been helping with us, Gail. She's been quite vocal on this whole thing and knows Britain First for what they are. And she's helped us a lot. And her herself, she's travelled from one end of the country to the other, where she'll use her last pennies to get to a demonstration to support.
Yes, she will. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so unfair that it's like every day's party day. And they're literally laughing at patriots. They're laughing at them.
They are laughing at patriots because there is one particular patriot. I think his name's. I'm only going to say his first name. I think it's Pat. He was donating. Then he got wise and unsubscribed, cancelled the direct debit. They've taken another £200 out of his bank. That's just one person.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Even when you end your subscription, if you're only donating £2 a week or whatever, people might not notice £2 a week. But if they do that to enough people, they could earn thousands.
Oh yes,
and
and
it's
that's,
still
that's
he's
known
still
as
trying
wire
to get the
fraud
money
over
back.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, when I paid for 1 month's subscription or something, they took out for a whole year £120, and they says you have now become a life member or something. Sent me an email. They just took the money. I never said anything about how
I didn't even know you subscribed to it, Graham.
Yeah,
get your money
this
back.
was, of course, that's when I got 2 newspapers from them. That was it, and I still get the emails. But
how ironic.
Yeah, this was
exactly.
Start. Yeah, and they just took the 120 out of the bank and sent me an email. You are now a life member. Well, how's that? I only paid for the 1 month. Went into my bank history, and there it was. They just helped themselves.
You should have asked Jada for a refund.
Yeah, so just dishonest from every angle you could possibly look at them. And they're the ones that say that they're the only organization acting against grooming gangs, or rape gangs is what I call them in the UK, and things of that nature, and saying that the EDL is ineffective.
They're the only patriotic group ripping off patriots.
Yes.
That's all they're doing.
I think Britain First is starting their own grooming gang.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds like it. It kind of sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I've called them BFGG, Britain First Grooming Gang.
Yeah.
I mean, as easily as they encourage the nice Polish girl to join them and do speeches and go to demos, it could be repeated with another girl from anywhere.
Yeah.
And if that
Like
girl
I said,
doesn't know,
they went
It's
across
happened before.
Europe. They went across Europe on a bender. How many girls? Because I'm not being funny. There was Jada, there was Paul, there was Edgy, right? They've all had a drink. You're not telling me that all that time they didn't chat up other girls.
of course they did.
Yeah.
Well, Edge is on that video outside of the Strasbourg courts saying, "Oh, we met a girl last night, a really young girl," and he was saying the girls around here are really fit on this video while they're inside the courts.
But the best bit was
they're on the
he
tour.
looked about and he said, "Shh, they're coming at their own risk." And he kept looking about like the SAS were going to jump out. They could get lifted at any time.
He says, "I'm really famous in France, you know." I'm really famous in France. He's off his head.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of, guys, and you, Sheldon Graham, may be too young for this, but this really reminds me of what President Bill Clinton did to Monica Lewinsky. I mean, here was this...
I like you, because you're assuming I'm really young.
and I'm saying nothing.
Yeah.
I'm keeping out of this one.
Yes,
But
I did not
was-
sleep with that woman.
That's right. Oh, yeah, she was a true believer in his administration, and he just used her again. It reminds very much of that.
Yeah.
Sexual
Yeah,
predators.
she was. And the Polish girl is a really nice girl. She's got no criminal history. She's a really nice girl. She's a good stand-up girl.
Lovely.
She's studied well into right-wing, and
She's a patriot, yeah.
she is a true patriot. And it's sickening that he's done that to that girl. It really, when I saw her, when she looked through the text messages on my phone, I could have broke down myself. I just saw everything fall away from her. She was so hurt. It was bad.
And the exact opposite is what we all should be doing. And it is, I think, what we're all trying to do here.
Yeah.
I just want people to wake up, keep hold of their money, invest it in their own communities, save your country, and let's get rid of Britain first.
Or send it to the EDL.
Or send it to the EDL.
Britain First certainly do need stopping. They need to be stopped now. They've gone through hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Well, in 2016 into 17, they totalled £249,000.
That is quite a lot. People, if you look at that on the exchange rate, that's close to $300,000 right there.
This is only money that
Goes
has
to the
actually gone through as donations. This is only money what they've let people know about. But who knows the real figures?
Yeah.
That's
It could
what
be a
they
lot more.
allowed out. Yeah, the real figures could be a lot more.
Yeah.
And will be.
I would just like to thank Graham and Shell for bringing this to our attention, not just me and you, Dave, and the Americans, but the rest of the UK that have been waiting to hear this because they already knew they were devious, sneaky, and thieving, lying toe rags. They already knew this. But they have confirmed it. They have got the evidence. It's unfortunate that a couple of girls have been sexually abused. But you know, justice is strange. You know, things happen for a reason, and this is what's really going to expose them finally. Yeah. So thank you, guys, and thank you, Dave, for letting us have this time with you.
It's been my honor and my privilege. I just want to also say to Shell and Graham, thank you guys for coming on the Unpleasant Blind Guy, a show you didn't even know about, to get the truth out there. It's very important that people know, and it might do some good, and that's one of the things that my show is all about. And of course, Jan, thank you. It's always an honor to work with you. And remember, people, there will be a follow-up to this. President Trump's error in 2017 was not trying to inform people of the fundamental danger that Islam represents to society. It was not in racism. Islam is not a race. It was in trusting content from a group of con artists who are very good at what they do. And Britain First's con has taken in many people, including good Americans who only want to help. But consider, has the situation for the people of the United Kingdom gotten better since the inception of Britain First? Also consider, would the report on the Rotherham child sex scandal have reached world attention had it not been for the English Defence League raising awareness of the threat of Islam since 2009? Though we complain about the show trial aspect of the UK government's treatment of those Mohammedans trading in non-Islamic children for sex, it has to be asked if those children would have any justice at all if it were not for the English Defence League. And what of Brexit? Would the people of the United Kingdom have come out in their millions to vote to leave the European Union had it not been for an organization of good people willing to put their feet on the street and represent to the world the fact that the people of the United Kingdom find the Islamization of their country through the European Union to be unacceptable, that organization being the English Defence League? For the truth truck and the splashy videos and all the rhetoric, Britain First has accomplished nothing more than the lining of its leaders' pockets with donated money. And no one denies that leadership in a civil rights organization has to be funded. But there's a big difference between a modest home and working vehicles and enough money to travel and get the business of the organization done, and no-holds-barred throwdowns where people party till they puke and do drugs. Britain First crossed that line. To my fellow Americans, I'd like to say that if you want to put your money towards an organization that has been slowly and steadily informing people of the threat of Islam in the United Kingdom and inspiring civil rights organizations across the planet, the organization to give to is the English Defence League. Go to their website, http://www.englishdefenceleague.org.uk, and you'll find real information on the status of Islamization in the United Kingdom. There's a donate button there, and no, if you donate you won't get a certificate, but you'll get a nice email of thanks. And by the way, there are no target amounts, and the English Defence League's books are clean. People, this program was months in the making, and the main thrust, working in the background, was Jan Rennie. one of the most effective news gatherers it's ever been my pleasure to know or work with. I want to thank her and Graham and Shell for helping bring this report. As a great civil rights leader, Dr. Kenneth Jernigan once said, "This is serious business. It's not about egos, it's not about self-aggrandizement, and the last thing that it should be about is money." The new civil rights movement is about making sure that all people of all skin colors and all backgrounds can live together in peaceful and prosperous societies without the fear of being subjugated by Mohammedans and the world being turned back to the Dark Ages. It's as simple as that. And it is the job of the conservative right to make sure that we are honest in our dealings with the public, because that is what marks the difference between us and those we oppose on the progressive left, who are partnering themselves with the encroaching Islamic caliphate that seeks to dominate civilization. In the end, we know we will win. But unlike the progressive left, we will work through integrity, and when we need to examine ourselves and make changes, we will. And that's it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening to this special edition of The Unpleasant Blind Guy, and may your God go with you. Goodbye. The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2018. Anno Domini.